I want to start with a statement that might sound provocative at first, but becomes obvious the longer you work with real AI systems. Prompt engineering is not a strategy. It's a technique, often a very useful one, but when teams treat it like strategy, they optimize the wrong thing. And that's why so many AI projects look brilliant in a demo, yet struggle the moment they touch real workflows, real users, and real consequences. If you're a builder, you might be thinking, hold on, prompts matter. And you're right, prompts can absolutely change outcomes. But this video is about category errors. It's about mistaking a steering technique for the blueprint of the vehicle. Strategy is about building something that behaves reliably over time. Prompting is about influencing a response in the moment. Here's the pattern. A team spends days or weeks tuning prompts until the outputs look amazing. The demo lands. Everyone's excited. Then the system goes live, and suddenly the AI is inconsistent. Costs are unpredictable. Edge cases explode, and nobody can explain why. The prompt didn't break. The system was never designed to carry the load. This is the disconnect I want to resolve. The AI can sound smart while the system is fragile. You can get beautiful language and still have weak memory, poor grounding, unsafe tool access, and zero observability. In other words, you can win the output contest and lose the trust contest. And in production, trust is the only thing that matters. So what is prompt engineering precisely? It's the craft of shaping model behavior within a single interaction, using instructions, constraints, examples, formatting, and sometimes role framing, so outputs are more usable and aligned with intent. It's like writing better requirements for one exchange. When the task is bounded and the stakes are low, prompting is powerful. Prompting shines when the task is short-lived and low risk. Summarizing, drafting, brainstorming, explaining, transforming text. You're operating in a narrow sphere. One prompt in, one response out. You can iterate quickly, see improvements instantly, and feel real momentum. That's why it's so seductive. The problem is that success in that narrow sphere encourages a dangerous assumption that if prompts can steer outputs, prompts can steer systems. But systems are not single turns. Systems have time, memory, tools, permissions, and real-world side effects. The quick wins hide what's missing underneath. Let's separate the categories. A technique improves a local outcome. You tune wording, add examples, tighten constraints. A strategy designs a system to achieve outcomes repeatedly under change. Strategy includes structure, constraints, feedback, monitoring, and recovery. Technique can improve a moment. Strategy compounds results over time. This is why strategy is a time-based concept. The question isn't, did the model respond well once? It's, does the system behave well across thousands of interactions, edge cases, new users, and pressure? That's the difference between a demo and a dependable product. Prompting gives you language-level control, tone, structure, surface reasoning. System-level control requires different mechanisms, state management, memory design, tool contracts, permissions, observability, and testing. When you confuse the two, you chase wording while value leaks elsewhere. First breakdown, memory. Prompting can remind the model what to do right now, but it doesn't decide what the system should remember, for how long, or with what guarantees. In production systems, memory is not just context, it's policy. What you remember shapes future decisions. When memory isn't designed intentionally, drift sets in. Old assumptions persist, stale facts resurface, and retrieval pulls the wrong signals at the wrong time. Over weeks or months, the system can become confidently inconsistent. That erosion doesn't show up in a demo, but it shows up as lost trust, rework, and silent operational cost. Second breakdown, state and workflow. As soon as an AI system moves beyond a single response into planning, execution, retries, or handoffs, state becomes the source of truth. State answers questions like, where are we, what has already happened, and what must happen next. Without explicit state transitions, systems behave unpredictably. Steps repeat, actions are skipped, or contradictory outputs emerge, depending on timing and load. These failures rarely look dramatic. They look like inefficiency. And inefficiency, at scale, is how systems quietly destroy value. Third breakdown, tools and actions. The moment an AI can call APIs, modify records, send messages, or trigger workflows, language stops being harmless. The system is now acting in the world. At that point, strategy determines whether the agent operates safely or recklessly. Permissions, scopes, approvals, and reversibility matter more than eloquence. A well-written prompt cannot compensate for excessive agency. Strategic capability design is what turns powerful tools into reliable leverage instead of systemic risk. Fourth breakdown, costs and side effects. In a single interaction, latency or token usage is easy to notice. In real systems, costs compound across retries, agent loops, tool calls, context growth, and long-running tasks. What makes this dangerous is that output quality can remain high while economics collapse underneath. Teams celebrate intelligence, while infrastructure bills rise, response times degrade, and margins erode. Strategy is what makes cost visible, controllable, and aligned with value creation. Prompt tweaks feel productive because they produce immediate feedback. You change wording, and the output changes right away. That feedback loop is psychologically rewarding. But this creates a trap. Teams keep optimizing the most visible surface, while deeper system weaknesses remain untouched. Over time, effort is spent polishing responses instead of strengthening foundations, and the organization mistakes motion for progress. This is the distinction I want you to internalize. Prompts nudge, strategy governs. Nudging influences behavior without guarantees. Governing defines boundaries, permissions, escalation paths, and recovery. Governed systems can refuse actions, defer to humans, log decisions, and fail safely. Those capabilities aren't nice-to-haves. They are what allow AI systems to operate in environments where money, reputation, and trust are on the line. Prompt-only systems rarely fail loudly. They degrade quietly. Responses become slightly less accurate. Actions become slightly less appropriate. Confidence remains high while correctness slips. These failures surface only when stakes are high, during audits, outages, customer incidents, or regulatory review. By then, the cost of rebuilding trust is far greater than the cost of designing strategy upfront. Real AI strategy begins with questions prompts cannot answer. Who or what is the agent, and what authority does it have? Which data sources are trusted, and how are outputs grounded? How is state managed across steps? How is behavior observed in production, cost, quality, and safety? And when something goes wrong, how does the system recover? These questions determine whether AI becomes an asset that compounds value or a liability that compounds risk. Notice what all of these questions imply. Trust is engineered. It is not something you extract from a model with better wording. In production, people do not trust models. They trust systems. They trust architectures that behave predictably, enforce constraints, and make decisions explainable after the fact. Architecture is where reliability turns into competitive advantage. If you want a practical rule for agentic systems, it's this. Can you observe it? Can you constrain it? And can you verify it? Observability tells you what the system is doing in the real world. Constraints limit what it's allowed to do. Verification allows you to audit and evaluate behavior over time. These capabilities turn AI from an experiment into infrastructure. This is where prompts finally belong. Prompting is one tactic in a much larger system. In serious AI applications, prompts sit alongside architecture, data pipelines, memory systems, evaluation frameworks, and governance. Treating prompts as the center of your strategy limits growth. Treating them as a tool unlocks scale. When prompts are supported by strategy, everything changes. Prompts can assume reliable memory. They can rely on safe tools, and their impact can be measured, not guessed. Teams can ship changes with confidence because systems have rollback paths, monitoring, and accountability. This is where AI stops being fragile and starts producing durable, compounding value. This is why I emphasize skills over tricks. Tools will change, models will evolve, prompt formats will be rewritten, but the strategist's responsibility remains constant. Design systems that behave well under real conditions. Those skills, orchestration, observability, memory design, capability control, are what protect relevance and create long-term advantage. If you want better outputs in narrow tasks, learn prompt engineering. But if you want AI that creates durable value inside real workflows, AI you can trust, then you need strategy. Prompting is a tactic. Strategy is the system. And that distinction is where competitive advantage is built. Before we wrap up, remember this. This video is part of a much bigger picture. In our 9 Skills for the Agentic AI Strategist series, we break down the capabilities that actually matter if you want AI systems that are reliable, scalable, and valuable in the real world. Prompt engineering is just one piece of that puzzle. See the link below to the 9 Skills video. If this video helped sharpen how you think about AI strategy, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. It helps more serious builders and leaders find this work. And if you want to know when the next video drops, the ones designed to increase your value as an agentic AI strategist, make sure to ring the notification bell. Thanks for spending your time here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.